My name is Vana Lopez. I'm 23 and I have my own home bakery business called Bianca's Home Bakery. I drive a 1983 W126 300 SE. It's the US version. This one's my first car, my first 126. And for this one, I want to keep it stock. Like the rims, the height, everything. And one of my goals for the future is to have different variants of the 126 in different colors. I think my interest for classic cars started at a young age. I remember when I was in elementary, high school, my dad would bring me to school with very few times he'd bring me to school with like some classic cars. One of them was like a second gen Pajero, a Ford Falcon, and even his first 126 before. And I think I remember, just until now I can imagine the interior of the car, being fascinated by it, like the cockpit and how different it looked from modern cars. The window cranks na iniikot pa, and even the bench seats and the leather and the comfort it gives. It was just different from modern cars. During the pandemic, I got close to my lolo, and I remember talking to him one time about the cars I really liked. And I was showing him pictures of the BMW E30, the second gen Pajero, the Gullwing. And one day he just said oh, come with me to the garage. And the one car I instantly fell in love with was his 1987 Jaguar XJS. And I think that was really the breakthrough moment for me, that I realized I really like classic cars. So after that, I found myself always scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, really fascinated by all these vintage cars. And I was always on the lookout on the road for older cars na. Before I started driving, I remember telling my dad one time that I saw an old black Benz. I think it was a 123. And I remember telling him one of my goals for the future is to have one, since it had such a classic look. It was very sleek, and for me it looked like it matched with my personality, my style. And I remember he had a shocked face na, oh, my daughter liked the old Benz. So I think that's where he got the idea of getting me the 126 as my first car. And how he acquired this car, he was driving around QC one time, saw the car at the dealership, and secretly bought it as a gift for me. This was in 2023. And that summer, I was about to learn how to drive pa lang. So it wasn't until September 2023 that I could start driving the car after practicing. For me, the best memory with this car was when I was able to drive it on my graduation day. I drove it myself alone to CCP for my graduation ceremony, and it was the best feeling being able to drive it on a special day. I do prefer classic cars over modern cars. They're mechanical, they're not computerized. So I think with the right maintenance and care, they could really last a lifetime. I honestly think they could even outlive their owners talaga. Second, their road presence. They just have a character and charisma. You always get a second look with it. Sometimes even a stare. There's just something so sleek and elegant about classic cars. Also, I've always loved anything classic or old. So music, clothes, style, everything. And this 126, I think, is really a reflection of myself, my personality, my interests, my style. This car is my daily. I've had it for 2 years now, and still I get really excited to drive it every single time. And it brings me so much joy and happiness when I get to use it on a daily basis to run errands or go to places kahit malayo. Sometimes kusa na akong nagsasabi to like my parents na, oh, I'll just pick up my siblings na lang. Even if that meant having to go to Cavite, Alabang, and then Parañaque. It's just enjoyable for me to drive this car. And it brings me so much happiness. Even if the car is really hot, kasi like the tint is clear and right now may sira yung aircon and nakakapawis kahit like to drive it. It still makes me so happy whenever I bring it out. And the joy of just riding this car and driving this car, it's unmatched talaga to modern cars. So the worst memory for me with this car was back in May 2024, and she overheated on me. I remember that day. I had to go here in Alabang to drop off my brother and attend an event after. And in the middle of driving in SLEX, the car started shaking aggressively. I was on the lookout for the temp gauge, the warning panel, everything, and nothing was lighting up. The temp wasn't going up. So I called my dad. I was like, Dad, the car is shaking. What do I do? And then I tried to describe it to him. And he was like, well, all cars have like vibration. They all shake. I was like, okay. So I continued driving, got to Alabang, dropped off my brother, had a bad gut feeling na. So I didn't turn off the car. Went straight to San Beda, parked in their open parking lot. And when I turned off the car, I tried to start it again and it didn't work. So all I heard was a click. And so I called my dad and then he went to me, opened up the hood, and we saw that the coolant was zero. As in, ubos na ubos yung coolant. That time I was freaking out. I was really scared. It was the first time it ever broke down on me. And my dad was so calm and collected, and he was like, and I think I really learned from that day na owning an old car has its downs and you have to be patient with it. What happened was we had to go home, and we went back with our SUV with a car trailer attached to it. And then along with my dad, my two titos and me, we had to push the car onto the trailer. And it was really heavy. So it got to the point where the security guards of the school were even helping us push it. So before my stock mags, what I had on were Centra mags. And I parked one time in school at an open parking lot in Taft. And by the time I had to go home, it was already nighttime. So it was really dark in the parking lot. And when I got home, I noticed one center cap was missing. So somebody stole it pala. That one kasi discrew lang eh. So it's easily taken off. Another thing about the worst memory was probably when the seatbelts wouldn't work. So I remember one time I had to take apart the wall where the seatbelt mechanic is, and I fixed it myself. And that time it was in a parking lot pa in Taft. So parang people were staring like, what is she doing? Or did her car break down or something? So it's like kind of in a way embarrassing, but then I really appreciate how like my interest with the car. I appreciate how I can like fix something like that on my own. The most recent memory that happened was last Wednesday. I had to pick up my brother in Alabang. When I got to the front of the house, my speaker stopped working. The car shut down. My dad and I had to push the car kasi nasira pala yung alternator. But then the next day, I was able to have it fixed and all was well naman na. Probably one of the worst memories then is the times na nagasgasan ko yung four corners of the car. I was learning how to drive it pa lang in the beginning and hindi ko pa siya matansya. Thankfully, my dad was really forgiving about that. And he said it's really part of learning how to drive a car na may mga gasgas. I think a message I would have to people wanting to own a classic car is to have patience with it. It'll really take time to bring it back to its prime, but I think it's really fulfilling. Like it'll take months and even years to get it to its perfect shape, but I think it's really a journey. It's a car that has like a soul. So if you treat it with the respect and care it deserves, it'll last you a long time. When you have a classic car, I think one of the most important things is to drive smart and take care of it on the road. Magbigay na lang sa mga sumisingit kasi it's not worth it pag nasagasaan or nabangga, nagasgasan. One special shout out is to my dad na thank you for always being there at every tirik and for helping me take care of the car, teaching me every time.